What's up everyone? So in today's video, I've owned my 2010 Audi R8 for just over 2 months. So it's time to make that classic, things I hate about my R8. As a disclaimer though, I don't hate anything about this car. It's been an absolute blast over my ownership experience so far. What I'm gonna go over today is just nitpicky things that I've noticed over time, things that could be improved and little things that would annoy me, but not enough to not daily drive this car as I drive it as much as I can. So we're gonna start off with heading into the inside. And once we get in, which is very easy to do in this car, I'm gonna bring you guys down to the dead pedal. This is first on the list. You guys can see that it's pretty much parallel with the clutch. So it does make for an easy transition. When you're resting your foot from the clutch, you have a place to put it. Now my problem is it is too close to the driver's seat. There's a lot of space behind it, as you can see my foot fully extended right now. I think they could have pushed it a little farther back. And my issue with this is that driving this on a daily basis or even taking it on long road trips, your knee gets pretty stiff in that position. Sometimes I have to rest it behind the clutch to give myself a break from having my knee that far bent. Sometimes I put it behind my right foot just to give me a little bit different positioning. So I wish they gave the driver a little bit more room in pushing that back away from the driving seat. Next up, we're gonna move on to the AC controls. They're very simple, laid out nicely, and they have a good click to them, so that way you know you're rotating them. You have your temperature, your fan speed in the center. This one is next on the list. This is pretty much unlabeled. So when you go to put it up in the up position, you would think it does all 4 of the center vents, and it doesn't. It actually does the center 2, not the passenger side or driver side. Moving it to the left, it will do just the center 2 and the footwell. Moving it all the way down just does the footwell. This one here that looks like an air vent is unmarked. That is how you get the 4 on the top. So the one on the passenger side, driver side, and the 2 up front. That is the only way to get those 2. So you can't actually do all of the vents at the same time. You can't do all 4 up top and the footwell. You can only do the 2 in the center and the footwell. So I think that's kind of odd that they pretty much have an extra setting that really doesn't do anything but give you the top 4. So I wish it was labeled just a little bit better, and I think that this one should have done all the air vents, and that would have made a lot more sense. Next up on the list is moving on to the 12 volts that I have in my car. There's one up in the front space, which is hard to use because of its location. I can use it, but whatever I have has to stay up there. The only one inside is in the glove box, and if you guys can see, it's way in the back there. So my issue with that is if I'm going to use this and I want to be able to use my phone, I can't really do that at the same time, because if I want to use it, it's going to just fall off this if I make a turn. I have to have it in the glove box and have it shut. So it doesn't really make much sense to have it in the glove box. I think they should have positioned it back where the CD player is, which I hardly use, maybe on one side or the other. That way you can put whatever you're charging in this cargo net in the back. That would make the most sense. I do, however, have another option, and that is using the cigarette lighter. So I can use that, hook up my phone, I can play my music and have that. I just think it's funny that the only one that's in here is down in the glove box where you really can't reach it. So next up, following being able to hook up my phone and being able to charge it, is playing music from my phone. So I do have Bluetooth in this car. It works really well. The only thing that I can do, however, is make calls. This is the screen that pops up when I want to listen to music, because I have to use an auxiliary cord that I went out and bought. It just hooks up right in the center console there. So the only thing that I can do from the steering wheel is adjust the radio. I have my mode button for Bluetooth, being able to make calls and things like that. So it's kind of odd that with this whole entire screen here, this is all that you see while you're playing music. You can't see the artist or anything or be able to change anything. So it is annoying if I don't have a safe time to look at my phone. I'm just listening to that song or changing the radio, and that can get annoying on a daily basis. Next up on this list is the fact that every time I turn my car off, the radio will turn back on even if I shut it off before I turn the car off. So you can see that my car is shut off right now. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. You're gonna hear the radio turn on. I just went ahead and shut it off. I'll turn the car back off. Turn it back on. You already heard it. It's already back on. So that can be annoying on a daily basis. If I've been listening to music and it's pretty loud, I go in the morning to turn the car on, I'll have to scramble to shut it off if it's too loud. I don't like loud music in the morning. So it can be annoying because sometimes it'll just start blasting the radio when I don't want it on, even though I went ahead and shut it off before I shut the car off. Next up, when I'm driving this car at nighttime and I need to search for something on the inside to see anything at all, there's only 2 lights on the inside and they are not very bright at all. So there is one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side, and they hardly even illuminate the center here. So I really have no interior lights at all. There are some under the footwells on each side, and I found out that I was able to turn up the brightness on those. So using buttons on the wiper blade stock that I had no idea were here, pushing the reset button on the bottom, I actually have a lap timer, which is pretty cool to be able to use. Going to my menu, I can go to set. I'm gonna go to lights, interior lights, footwell lights, and then the brightness I've put all the way up to 100%, and it's still not bright enough. But driving this at nighttime, if I need any sort of light, it's almost better using the flashlight on my phone than it is using the ones on the inside. And this is a coupe, so they could have put some kind of light back here, maybe for one to see any of the storage space in the back of it for whatever you put back there. But it's surprising they don't have one up here. They could have made these a little bit brighter. It would have been easier to see. So now we're gonna move on to the exterior of my R8, and the first thing that I wanna go over is the rear glass. When I drive this car in the rain, the rear glass gets completely fogged up, which really hinders rear visibility. I do have rear defrosters, but it still takes a good amount of time to get that glass completely clear. And as you can see, I mean, the visibility is pretty good. Over this shoulder, you do have a huge blind spot, and over this side, there is a blind spot right here. So driving this in the rain, it does make that much worse because I pretty much have zero visibility. So driving this out in the rain, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, especially since visibility is not the greatest with it being a sunny day out like this. Next up on the exterior is going over the exhaust. Now, I think the exhaust is way too quiet. It has a nice aggressive tone to it. It's just super quiet. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think of the exhaust. I'll go ahead and throw in a quick clip here. Hopefully you've seen the POV video that I made a couple weeks ago, but let me know what you think of the stock exhaust. Should I upgrade to an aftermarket exhaust or even straight pipe it? Last up on the list for today's video has nothing to do with the car. It has to do with the previous owner drilling holes into the front bumper. I am the second owner of this car, so I'm very shocked that the first owner would do that. Now, this car did come from Maryland. Maryland requires front tags, but I have no idea why they didn't use the tow hook located on the passenger side there to put a license plate bracket instead of drilling 2 holes into this 6-figure car. That is why I have that license plate bracket there as a temporary fix before I hopefully paint it or wrap it or, you know, completely fix it the correct way. And there's actually 4 holes drilled into this front bumper. So there are 2 that hold the bracket for the frame that I bought, and then there was another frame that held the front radar sensor. So I've actually taken that and adhered it to the bottom of this. I don't know why they did that. They put in a special frame to hold this, which required 2 more holes. So there's, again, 4 holes behind that. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, again, going over things that I don't hate about my car, just nitpicky things that I can live with on a daily basis, because again, this is my dream car. I've enjoyed every minute of it so far. If you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. Stay tuned for my video coming on things that I absolutely love about my 2010 Audi R8. And I will see you guys next video.